Shalom, shalom. Here we go again. Here we go. Welcome to Mother Africa Be Calling. I'm your brother, Besalel Yehuda Yisrael, also known as Eric. Before I get started, please do me a favor. It's real easy to do. Hit the like button. Please, hit the like button if you like what I do. Hit the like button. It helps YouTube to share it with more people when you do hit the like button. And also, I want to reach more people, with this channel. And so the information, I believe, is good. And I just will enjoy to see more people enjoy it as well. Also, I would like for you to share it as well. If you would do me that favor, every chance you get to share it. And so, yeah, that helps to, grow the channel. And so anyway, I got a lot more in mind that's coming to the channel. So anyway, I love when I see comments. That's another thing too, before I move on. I love comments. So, if you leave a comment, you got something on your mind about what we talked about or something else, just let me know. Leave a comment. I definitely read them and I will respond to them. So anyway, if you don't know, let me tell you, because this channel is Mother Africa Be Calling, it's all about Africa and us as African people. And so, we invite anyone to the channel. You do not have to be of African descent or anything like that, but it's going to be based on African things that happen with Africans and people from Africa, period. Especially those who were ancestors were taken in the transatlantic slave trade, especially. So anyway, what's going on over in Africa? Let's see, West Africa. Right now is in some turmoil. And so you had several coups over there, but I'm going to go to the most recent, and that is the country of Niger. And so some people probably know about it, but just in case some of you don't know about it, let me run it down real quick. So Niger recently in July had a coup. They had a president in there that they removed the president. I believe it was his subordinate staff. They overtook him, and so they got him held up in a place. They even talking about trying him for treason, and so. They did this coup because they felt like, I'm gonna sum it up. Basically, they did it because they felt like the country was not doing well. So they did this for safety reasons, because of the instability would cause more problems regarding safety. They did it also basically because they felt like that this guy that was in there was basically not for the people. His allegiance was to France. Okay, his allegiance was to France, and so and you could basically, I think I believe their argument is valid, because when you look and see that this country is one of the poorest in the world, but yet it has the natural resources to be one of the more wealthiest countries. But the resources are being controlled by France, and France is benefiting off of it, while the people that live in the country, while they live there, are starving and hungry and suffering. It's even said that most of them live on less than $1 a day. Now, what does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with us as African people? Look, we are African people, and look, my concern is for any injustice. There's no reason for any any people to go to suffer in poverty when all the resources in the earth, almost everybody could be rich, but we know that can't be true. It's not going to happen because even the Bible says the poor will always be with you. And we also know because of greed, because of sin, it's going to always be a problem. And so, but nevertheless, that still does not keep me from having a heart and a concern when I see people who are impoverished, especially a whole country of people that are pretty much living in poverty or impoverished. So anyway, this coup has caused a big uproar, right? And so France is upset, and you would say the countries of the West are all upset. They got their panties in a bunch. Okay, you got, of course, France, because France colonized the country, and then they supposed to have given them freedom so many years ago, but that freedom was not really freedom. It's still almost the same because they had to sign an agreement just to get their independence, which wasn't independence because France, the agreement put France in a position where as though they would be in control of pretty much their natural resources. They had to have their language be their the French language be their first language. They had to, their any of their revenue or their income had, I believe it's 85% would have to go to French for investment. So they got to turn over like 85% of their income to France for investments. And I don't know whether it goes, France give them some back or whatever, but so you got another country controlling your income. And so, and we can see that it's not working out because the country is very, very poor. Okay. So now, the big thing here now is uranium. This country is rich in uranium. And so uranium is a source of power for nuclear. And so a lot of France's energy is coming from nuclear power plants, which needs uranium to run. So a lot of they got their electricity, their homes, and different things that they use are their businesses and homes and all that. They need this energy. They need uranium to run their plants, to have electricity and to survive, to keep warm in the winter and different things like that. So they rely on Niger, and I heard some other countries to get this uranium. Niger is one of their main sources. And so Niger is the people are of course are tired of it. They're upset because it's not like the French is saying, hey, we'll buy the uranium from you. And that would help Niger out if France would just say, let's do this. Let's buy from you, and let's work out prices. They can't do that. They just took over it. So let me just read something to you right here. And this right here is Wikipedia. I got this out of Wikipedia, and I'm gonna go straight down and tell you right here what the problem is right here. Let me read this to you. Niger mining industry is the main source of national exports. So their mining industry is the main source of national exports, of which uranium is the largest export. Niger has been a uranium exporter since the 1960s and has had substantial export earnings and rapid economic growth during the 1960s and the 1970s. The persistent uranium price slump has brought lower revenues for Niger's uranium sector, although it still provides 72% of national export proceeds. You hear that? So 72% of the country's export proceeds comes from the uranium. So that's how important that is. Get this. When the uranium-led boom ended in the early 1980s, the economy stagnated and new investment since then has been limited. Niger's 2 uranium mines, Somers open pit mine, and Comanac's underground mine, are owned by a French-led consortium and operated by French company. Did you get that? Now it says Niger's 2 uranium mines. So it's Niger's uranium mines, okay? Okay, so that's theirs. It's supposed to be theirs. But look, it says Somers open pit mine and Comanac's underground mine, that's the name of these 2 mines, are owned by a French-led consortium and operated by a French company. So the French owns the mines. Their main source of export product that they export, that is 72% of the national export proceeds. It is owned by the French. Come on now. See, this is the problem right here. So now, obviously, the former president that they had in there, obviously, all the presidents before that, they are puppets for the French. Otherwise, it's obvious. Otherwise, the French would not be able to own their resources like that, and the country would not be poor when it does have a resource that's needed that they can export, and it's 72% of their exports. Obviously, that if they had control of it and they sold it at the market rate, just the same as the Saudis do and others who have resources, then they wouldn't be as poor as they are, right? But no, the French is basically like the mob. They colonize them and then they say, okay, yeah, we're going to give you your freedom. But it's not really freedom, right? So here's another problem right here. Now that Niger is doing something for itself, because the people are in the streets, this takeover by the subordinates, right? And they ousted the president, the puppet for the French. This takeover that they did, the people in the streets are backing it. So, the West, talking about the French and those Western nations is backing France, they are up in arms about it, talking about democracy. But if it's democracy and you got the majority of the country's people are saying, no, we do not want the ousted president, we want the new regime that took it, then you got democracy right there. The people, that's what they want. And it's their country. So why are you up in arms about it unless you in it for yourself? So now here, look at this right here. Now, this right here is what goes on, that people of African descent always fall for this. You have a group of Western African countries. It's called the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, if you haven't heard of it. So ECOWAS is a group of West African states. I think it's like 15 of them. And let me tell you what they do. So the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, also known as CEDEAO in French and Portuguese, is a regional political and economic union of 15 countries located in West Africa. Okay, so considered one of the pillar regional blocks of the continent-wide African economic community. The stated goal of ECOWAS is to achieve collective self-sufficiency for its member states by creating a single large state bloc by building a full economic and trading union. The union was established on 28 May 1975 with the signing of the Treaty of Lagos, with its stated mission to promote economic integration across the region. A revised version of the treaty was agreed and signed on 24 July 1993 in Cotonou. ECOWAS also serves as a peacekeeping force in the region, with member states occasionally sending joint military forces to intervene in the bloc's member countries at times of political instability. Okay, so you got these states, 15 of them, right? And that included Niger. That included Niger. But let me let you hear this right here. Right here. So as of February 2017, ECOWAS has 15 member states. 8 of these are French speaking, 5 are English speaking, and 2 Portuguese speaking. All current members joined the community as founding members in 1975. So now they're not even speaking their native tongue, these states in Africa, their countries. Look, the only former member of ECOWAS is Arabic speaking Mauritania, which was also one of the founding members in 1975 and decided to withdraw in December 2000. So I'm gonna skip that right there. I want to go here. Mali, here's the issue right here. Mali was suspended, one of the countries. Mali was suspended from ECOWAS on 30 May 2021 following its second military coup within 9 months. Guinea was also suspended on 8 September 2021 and shortly after a military coup took place in the country. Look, sanctions were placed on both countries on 16 September. On 10 January 22, Mali announced its decision to close its borders and recall several ambassadors with ECOWAS in response to sanctions imposed for deferring elections for 4 years. On January 28, 2022, Burkina Faso was suspended from ECOWAS following a military coup. Niger was suspended from ECOWAS after a 2023 coup d'etat and threatened with military intervention if President Mohamed Bazoum is not restored to office, causing the Nigerian crisis. Now it's a Nigerian crisis because of the most recent military coup, right? The most recent one, it was done by Niger. ECOWAS and is now all up in arms. Not the ones the countries that I just said that were suspended for the coups, but the remaining ones that's intact. They are up in arms, upset about this coup. Okay, so I just want to show you right here. Here's a list of them right here. This is a list of the countries that are of ECOWAS or ECOWAS: Benin, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Ivory Coast, Liberia, Mali, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Togo. Okay, and so Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, all right now they recently had coups, and they are suspended. And those 3 are holding up and saying, because those are joining together as far as backing each other against forces coming in to overturn the coup, to restore those presidents that were basically puppets for the French or for the West. So recently, Niger just had theirs, and ECOWAS, their own brothers now, coming out saying, if y'all don't get this back and put these presidents, or this president, especially we talking about right now, I'm gonna stick to Niger. If you don't reinstate the president that was in office, we are going to take military action. Now these are ECOWAS, the brother countries. This is what it, and it is coming from the leader of ECOWAS, Nigeria president. He is barking at Niger's leaders that took over. He's barking. He's like, look, if you don't put this president, the former president, back up, we're coming in with troops. Wow. Knowing how poor the citizens are, knowing what these people are going through, Why is he so upset and the rest of them upset against their own brothers because they're trying to do what's best for their people? Let's show you. See, this right here, what they're doing is they are doing this right here. Let's go to this character right here. This character right here. I just had to pull him up. This is Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson, actor, Hollywood actor. He's very famous if you didn't know him. He is playing this character called Steven, a house Negro. I mean, he is a cotton-picking, boot-licking Negro. Hate his own kind. Love the master. Lick the master's hand in his boots. This character really made me angry watching this movie, this film. And so what his character did was he just wanted to please the master and make his master happy, because he was a house Negro, and he was close to the master, and he felt that because of that he was better than all his brethren that were out in the fields. And I mean, he treated them terrible. Whatever, he was the eyes and ears for the master. So I mean, if he saw another black person that was not in the position of a slave, he would go off and be like, why is he on a horse? And get down off that Ned when he see a black man on a horse. It was terrible. And so this is what I'm saying about these presidents that's in ECOWAS that's going against Niger and what they're doing, and going against Burkina Faso and Mali. These presidents, this is the character, because what they're doing is they're bidding for the West and for the French, okay? And against their own brothers, Look at the angry face. That's the face that they have against Niger for simply saying, hey, enough is enough. Our people are starving, we are poor, and they are rich off of our resources. Instead of the French saying, hey, let's just buy from you, they taking from them. They gangster. That's gangster. And so here these guys, they gonna fight for the French, knowing that they're going through the same thing in their countries. They are not developing as they should, and they are not. And so their people are also being hoodwinked. Their people are also suffering because they got these high positions and they just licking their master's hand. And they're going to fight against their brother. They're going to take military action against their brothers who's standing up and saying, you know what? Enough is enough. We are men and we're going to stand on our own 2 feet. You are not going to run our house. So this right here, I'm praying that it goes right. I don't want war. I don't want the people to suffer no more than what they are suffering. But we as a people, we have to pray, right? We got to pray because these are this is us. These are our people that's suffering like this. And we got to pray even against those leaders that oppose Niger's takeover. This guy right here, this is Nigeria's president. Now he is the leader and throwing up threats. This right here, he is that character right here. He's that character right now. That's him. He's that character, And it's sad because how could you look at children that look like you, that are hungry or who are in poverty, and they don't have a lot of Niger's people, like I believe 90, like I don't want to give a number, but I think I estimated like most of the population, most of them do not have electricity. They don't have electricity, but yet they got the resources in their country to have electricity. But the resources are being taken out of their country and owned by Europeans in France, while France live on a high horse and be rich. And these people not even getting 50% of what belongs to them. They are living in poverty. and they don't have energy or their lights on. They are being treated just like slaves. They are. And these people who are Africans are going to fight against a poor and a beat down people. How sad is that? They're going to take up arms and go against the weak, the poor, that are trying to survive. This is what they're doing. You know, that's a coward. They are cowards. They rather take care of their own self and their own families and see a continuation of a people being oppressed and being starved out, when it's simple as stand up and say we can't do it no more, when they should be coming together and saying, hey, fairness is fairness. Okay, that is not your home to the French. This is not your home. It is our home. And we will sell it to you. You need energy, we will sell it to you, but we have to, our people got to survive. See, because when you starve out a country, or you take all the resources and you put the people in dire straits and poverty, it breeds crime, corruption, suffering, all kinds of things, because the people are doing whatever they got to do daily to survive. And it's so important to us as a people, as we are outside of Africa, a lot of us. I'm talking about the diaspora. I'm talking about those whose ancestors were taken, kidnapped in the transatlantic slave trade. So look at it like this. Remember, our ancestors were taken away from the continent, and those who lived there, just think, who were still there, those who were in power, presidents during the 16, 17, 1800s, when we were in shackles and spread throughout all the nations in the earth, what did they do for us? I mean, it's like, they were being oppressed too, but it would be us saying, dang, they didn't even try to take up for us. They didn't come to get us. They didn't fight for us. And so we as a people now, don't be like them. We have to do whatever we can do, pray, and that's the biggest thing, ask Abba Yah to step in, and because who can deal with Abba Yah? But that's why we need to move righteously. That's why we need to do Yah's commandments. So therefore, when we do pray, we will get help from Yah, and also, it also will show those who don't believe in Yah, or who don't know Yah, to turn to Him when they see His mighty hand work in their favor. Because we cannot deal with these, with the enemy and his children without Yah, Yeshua, Hamashiach. We just can't do it. Because they have all the weaponry and the science of making weapons and all that. They got that from Shaitan and the fallen angels. And so our source is not carnal, but mighty through Yah for pulling down strongholds. Our weapons of warfare are spiritual weapons, which are far superior than these carnal weapons. But we have to be able to get those spiritual weapons. And that comes through righteous living, faith, belief, obedience, loving Yah, fearing Yah. That's what it comes from. So anyway, I wanted to put this out, just my take on it. And this is Mother Africa be calling. And I'm your brother, Besalal Yehuda Yisrael. Please, again, please don't forget me now. Don't forget me. Like, share, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And I'm gonna go ahead and end it on this right here. Don't be like this character. Don't be like him. This is the worst this type of mindset is more dangerous to us as a people and has been than the actual enemy, the enemy that's European or white. And I would just say shalom, shalom.
He is worthy to be praised. Oh, magnify Yahweh, for He is worthy to be praised. Yeshua, blessed be the rock, blessed be the rock of my salvation. Yeshua, blessed be the rock, blessed be the rock of my salvation. Oh.